news for today. Far-right groups shift focus to LGBTQ events. Their hateful aim hasn't changed. So, we've got some more information on the Idaho Pride event, where 31 members of Patriot Front were charged with conspiracy to riot. Some members of Patriot Front were from Florida that went to Idaho. Now, does anyone know where Idaho is? They were from Virginia, Arkansas, Tennessee. Does anyone know where Idaho is on the map? And where the states I just mentioned are on the map? They literally traveled thousands of miles because they wanted to murder random gay people or trans people. That's insane. That's crazy. That's crazy. 2 incidents in which far-right extremists targeted LGBTQ events earlier this month marked what appeared to be a shift in focus for white supremacist activists. A group of men with ties to the white nationalist Patriot Front was arrested outside a pride event in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, the same day alleged members of far-right Proud Boys crashed a children's drag queen storytelling event and shouted homophobic and transphobic slurs in Alameda, California. Sheriffs are now investigating it as a possible hate crime. They literally went there because of trans people, and they called people trannies. It's possibly a hate crime. If that's possibly a hate crime, I would love to know what the definition of a fucking hate crime is. That's like when the fucking Buffalo mass shooter in his manifesto said, yes, I went there to kill black people specifically. And the media's like, suspected racially motivated. If I'm going there to kill black people because I hate black people is theoretically suspected to be racially motivated, then what the fuck does racially motivated mean? That doesn't mean anything. If, I want to go there because they're trans and call them trannies is suspected hate crime, it's possible. Some dumb shit. Earlier iterations of Patriot Front of Proud Boys were among the neo-Nazi factions who sought to intimidate the Charlottesville, Virginia community after the Unite to Right rally in 2017. So, of course, again, Patriot Front specifically is the group of people that when reacting to Charlottesville, when reacting to someone getting murdered at Charlottesville, there was a factional split in the right. Some people wanted to condemn it for optics' sake. Oh, that's bad. I'm sorry about that. But that doesn't change the fact that, blah, 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 we're right-wing conservatives. The people that are now Patriot Front were the motherfuckers that were like, yes, in fact, we wish more people died. That's that group. That's that splinter. So I need you to understand this. So why would members of a white supremacist group, many of whom in the case of the Idaho event have traveled from other states, choose to target a local pride event? Extremist researchers say the far-right activists are seizing on an opportunity of heightened attention around cultures they have always seen as a threat to their hateful interests. And the particular events that extremists chose to target that Saturday had in recent weeks drawn negative attention among the far-right online networks to fuel their hate activism. Groups like Patriot Front and Proud Boys have relied on misogyny and homophobia as a core of their brands. Now, again, Proud Boys, now I don't know if they're still doing this, but they were founded, right, by a comedian, right, a far-right misogynist comedian, right, and one of the original core tenets of the Proud Boy ideology was that you're not allowed to masturbate because that's too gay. Bro, you're touching dick. That's gay. That was literally part of the, and again, another part of the Proud Boy ideology is that in order to rank up in the Proud Boy, Proud Boys group, you need to commit a hate crime. That's how you would level up. It's a gang initiation. You go out there, beat the shit out of a random black person on the side of the street like they've done in New York several times. That's how you get higher rank in the Proud Boys. So it's not surprising to see them step out in front of the current moment. The far-right's latest targets fit the same old hateful agenda. What might appear as disparate targets by white supremacists and other far-right extremist groups. I don't know why anyone would think a far-right group wouldn't want to kill gay or trans people. Like, the idea that, that's shocking. Like, anyone that thinks that's shocking, fucking moron, right? But anyway, are all part of one aim, dismantling democracy in order to establish a white ethno-state. These groups are very, very willing to and eager to change their targeting. Kathleen Below, a history professor at Northwestern University, blah, 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 told NPR's blah, blah, blah in an interview, blah, blah, blah. But it is all for the same common purpose. That purpose, she said, stems from the shared racist rationale. They see gay rights, immigration, interracial contact, and especially the birth of interracial children, feminism and others, and several other social movements as all being a problem because they believe that these things will undermine their white birth rate. She said, they see those as an apocalyptic threats that are somewhat interchangeable in a larger project of protecting and preserving whiteness itself. That's correct. Timing also played a key role in the extremist plans in Idaho and California. All of this was taking place in the context of declining movement interest in COVID denial and anti-CRT racism to mobilize members. Now, again, remember when CRT was destroying the world? CRT. Whoa! Remember the caravans? There's caravans. They're coming in from Mexico. The caravans, the immigrants, the brown people, the caravans are going to destroy democracy. And then the day after the 2018 midterms, like the day before, there's like 50,000 stories on caravans. The day after, no one mentioned it, right? And then the 2019, or rather 2020 elections, 2021 elections, were like, oh, CRT, critical race theory, destroying America. The black people want to be involved in history. Oh no! And then as soon as the elections were over, CRT, what? You mean the television? Right, and now the next election, oh, it's the tranny groomers. Oh, it's a new scapegoat every election cycle. They just change it up because right after. Like, in early 2021, they sowed the seeds for this groomer bullshit. Donald Trump's first speech after January 6th was at CPAC, where he dedicated half the speech to shitting on transgender people. Right? So this, they just build these targets, and they just rotate them out. After 9/11, oh, the Muslims, the brown people, they're going to destroy the world. Let's go bomb their countries, except for Saudi Arabia, which most of the terrorists came from, because Saudi Arabia, blah, blah, blah. Right? They just switch it up. All of this was taking place in the context of decline. Yeah, okay. The recent far-right disruptions have prompted LGBTQ event organizers and law enforcement to stay on high alert during Pride Month. The far-right incidents are not isolated events, according to a study released last week by the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project. As conservative politicians and media have ramped up anti-LGBTQ rhetoric, even the New York Times is running, I think 6 pieces over the last couple of weeks attacking transgender people. Transgender people, there's millions of them in the country. Oh, really? How many millions? Oh, it's actually 0.4% of the population. It's gone down. Trans people were estimated as 0.6% of the population a couple years ago. Now 0.4%. So the percentage is going down. But there's millions. Oh! And anti-trans legislation in recent months, anti-LGBTQ demonstrations have increased and grown more violent. Right-wing influencers online had targeted the Idaho Pride event for weeks. Now again, you have groups that listen to everything people like libs of TikTok say, listen to the Charlie Kirk show, listen to fucking Steve Bannon show, listen to what Donald Trump says, right? And they get targets. And then they go there en masse and try to kill people. The Pride in the Park event at Coir, I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm fucking sorry. I don't, this whole French bullshit, Jesus Christ, was singled out by the far right as early as April 13. He said that's when a national leader of the white supremacist Groypers group, Vincent James Fox, a relatively new North Idaho resident, targeted the parade on Telegram. From there, quote, from there, thanks to the extensive networking Fox has done in the area, far-right circles, the counter-demonstration was taken up by several other groups from North Idaho anti-groomers, to the Panhandle Patriots, again, referring to Florida, said Burghardt, the Irish president. It spread like wildfire through area far-right social networks. Maybe Panhandle Patriots is referring to the Panhandle of Idaho. I'm not sure. But I do know that there were people from Florida as well. Although white supremacists have long villainized a range of groups, including black people, Jewish people, LGBTQ people, white nationalist groups like Patriot Front historically haven't made Pride events a focus, according to John Lewis, blah, blah, blah. Far-right targets have shifted based on what local events get picked up and gain traction in national right-wing network of mainstream media. So again, when Tucker Carlson does all this bullshit and says, oh, it's CRT, it's the caravans, oh, it's the groomers, woo! It's just whatever's most popular at the time. They don't think for themselves. They don't actually have internal monologues. They're zombies. They're drones. They're sheep. They follow in lockstep with their dear leader. And that changes. They don't actually think on their own. Earlier this month, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene said it should be illegal to take children to drag shows. Words echoed by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who suggested he's considering punishing families who take their children to drag shows. In Idaho itself, a pastor in Boise told his congregation last month that LGBTQ people are worthy of death. This month, authorities said pride flags in the city were vandalized for the second year in a row. Interesting. Interesting. So you can read the rest of this if you'd like. Well, we get the gist. What we need to do in this country is destroy the ideology of fascism once and for all. No more half measures. No more, oh, they'll come around. No more, oh, the fever will break. We need severe intervention in these people's lives. Because they're fucking crazy. Like, once again, in the chat room right now, in the live show, we have someone with a swastika avatar threatening to kill me. Right now! Like, you can just see it right now! Like, again, these motherfuckers are insane. They're insane. We need to get Kamala Harris's task force in this shit, bro. Like, they're crazy motherfuckers. They're crazy motherfuckers. This is what they do. This is what they do. This is their ideology. This is their world. This is their life. This is what gives them meaning in their life. Like, for me, what gives me meaning? Taking care of my dog. Doing funny videos online. Making people laugh. Educating people. That's what gives me meaning. These people, what gives them meaning is threatening random minorities online. They get up every day and they go like, oh, the trannies. That's what they do every day. Like, that's their life. Like, when they write in their diaries at the end of the day, dear diary, today I threatened to kill 17 trannies. Maybe tomorrow I'll hit up 18. That's, like, I need you to understand, these people are insane. They are crazy. They are crazy. They are fucked in the head, and not in the good dick way. Like, this is their life mission. Like, their life mission isn't to, listen to good music. They really like music, so they want to listen to, like, every song that is in the genre that they love. Their life mission isn't to watch all the horror movies in the world because they love horror movies. Their life mission isn't to, like, play every, like, JRPG because they're really cool and they love the art. Their mission is to exterminate minority groups because they're weird. They're fucking freaks. They've been brainwashed. They're zombies. They're cultists. They're religious fundamentalists. And their religion is mass murder of people that literally have done nothing to them. Like, it's as simple as a black person being alive. That's a threat to their identity, their core identity. A transgender person walking down the street is a threat to their core identity. It's insane. It's insane. It's fucking insane. Like, I don't even know. Like, there's no words that could accurately summarize just how fucking insane these motherfuckers are. Anyway, aren't death threats an actual crime? There's one of those, like, the thing about crimes that you need to understand is that all laws are suggestions. They're suggestions, right? So, like, jaywalking laws, if you're white and you jaywalk, you're good. If you're black and you jaywalk, oh, they'll fuck you up. All laws are suggestions. The only thing that matters is enforcement. So when someone sends me a death threat, and if that's reported to the police are going to go like, oh, it's a white nationalist threatening to kill a tranny. Fuck it. Right? But if I were to give anyone a death threat, I would go to jail because it's about enforcement. Laws are all just suggestions. It's crazy. I mean, these motherfuckers are insane. I mean, this is what happens when you have a country where 81% of people believe in God. 81% of people in this country are open to the idea in believing in fairy tales of people telling them what to do. Now, some people, their fairy tales lead them in the right direction, and they think, oh, God wants me to love everyone, and that's great. But some people, just that idea that as a society we are susceptible to magical thinking, being a neo-Nazi is a religion. It's just, instead of believing in like some Christian God, they believe in like Big Daddy Trump or some shit, and their mythology is Adolf Hitler, and he's like, you know, a fallen messiah, right? Like, it's magical thinking. Like, being susceptible to magical thinking is what really is the ultimate root cause of all of this fucking shit. The fact that people can believe things where there's no evidence. There is no evidence of, like, Jewish people raining pestilence down on the clean German world. There's no evidence of it, but they believe it because they believe in the concept of magical thinking and faith, taking things without evidence on faith. So when Adolf Hitler goes out there and says, the Jewish people bring disease, they're like, there's no evidence, but Hitler said it, so it must be true. So when people go out there and say the trannies are grooming children, well, there's no evidence, but Trump said it, Tucker said it, must be true. It's magical thinking. Like, this is why on my show, I want to preach the practice of mindfulness, right? Of asking yourself why you do the things that you do and following those dominoes all the way back to the start, right? So when you are eating food, ask yourself, why am I eating this food? When did I first eat this food? How did I get into this kind of food, right? When you are making yourself coffee, ask yourself, you know, all this kind of stuff. But like, again, in that same vein, if you are online threatening to kill transgender people for simply existing, ask yourself why. Why do I hate transgender people? Well, the answer is because, you know, someone, basically the answer boils down to someone told you to. Someone that's not you told you to, and that's it. That's it. You didn't come at this conclusion by yourself. And that's the thing. I don't think most people in this society are actually conscious beings, in the sense that when you do everything you do is because someone else told you to. That's a problem. And I don't care like what your politics are. I don't care if you're like the biggest like fucking, you know, bleeding heart lefty in the world. Like, you should arrive at conclusions because you arrive at these conclusions, not because somebody told you to. Kill the God in your head, kill the cop in your head, because that's holding you down. That's holding you back from achieving, like, what the human brain is capable of achieving. When you let other people think for you, you are not a conscious being. You are a zombie. You are a zombie. But being a zombie is not a permanent state of mind. being a drone can be cured. And the cure is education. But again, education can be corrupted. Right? Because again, fascists have their own mythology. They have their own education where they educate people on disinformation. Like the Buffalo shooter said he was reading about, the history of the white race online. And that's what led to him being a fascist. Right? So, yes, the cure is education. But these people have also fucked with that too. And so again, when you're educating yourself, when you are being educated, right, the goal should be to read facts from multiple sources and generate your own conclusions. If you are getting all of your info from one show, which is why, in my opinion, if this is the only show you watch on YouTube, that's a problem. You should be watching multiple different positions. That's why when I go on my show, I love to read Fox News articles. Why? Because I want to know what the right wing is thinking. Because that better gives me the ability to understand what's going on in the world. If I were to only read, like, Jacobin, for example, I would turn into one of those weird, like, Jacobin-obsessed people, like those ML weirdos, right? Again, you need to have a variety of sources as much as possible. That's one thing that, like, if you are getting all of your information from one source, that's not good. Like, no matter how much you trust the source, if you trust me with giving you always honest information, that's great. I'm glad you do. But also, you should be watching some other news shows. You should be reading a couple books from different people that disagree with you. You know what I mean?